We're back with another Cosmic Fury breakdown review of this episode, so strap in and let's begin. We're back on Eltar and Scrozzle is connecting the Morphing Masters to the actual chair, getting it all ready because we know the plan. Lord Zed is going to absorb all the Morphing Masters from the Master Captivator, which again, I will completely forget that name, so I've said it here first. So Bajilio is worried about Squillia, but not for the reason why. As she busts in, she turns around and says like, you know, she's being captured, but mainly it's bad for the image of the company, which I can understand this. Like, I generally think this is the case because what happens? Yeah, like it's all about the company and it's not about her daughter. But Zed just goes, nah, I don't care about this. Like, she's annoying. What the hell? Do not care about her whatsoever. And he completely shuts Bilgelia down. All that Zed cares about is getting the Master Captivator to produce energy to go into him, and so he can become a Morphing Master. Squillia has a tracker on her phone, and as it kind of switches over to the base of the rebels, you can see it's flashing. Now, you kind of think that the Rangers would wholeheartedly have noticed that and gone, oh crap, or maybe have gotten rid of her phone. Because again, even if it didn't have a tracker, it would have connected to the satellites, so they would be able to kind of locate her straight away. Again, it's one of those things that they don't think about, but again, a tracker on the phone that again is beeping, like kind of flashing, so you know what was going to happen. Now, this is a problem that I have with Amelia. So Zeta reads the mind of Squillia and is like, nope, there's nothing in there. She was present at the meeting, but we don't know what's going on. And Amelia's like, nah, I don't believe this. And he's like, and Zeta's like, yeah, go on then, read her mind for yourself. And she does, and she's like, okay, yeah, I kind of believe you. You kind of think that you would take the word of Zeta, but no, I don't trust you. Just read her mind at the same time as Zeta. It would have made a bit more sense. It kind of annoys me a little bit that Amelia didn't believe Zeta. Now, everyone is teleported in because they're going off and doing stuff. We have Ion and Javi. They come back from Osaka. They've got Japanese snacks. And then we have Fern and Izzy teleporting. And I kind of like the fact that Lord Zed was going to conquer everything and call New Zealand New Zedland. I generally really like that name. And I was like, damn, okay, that's pretty cool. As soon as everybody has arrived, Billy contacts them and says, hey, like, you know, they were able to save the area. They're going off to Reefside. Now, this is one thing that irritates me that no one on the set actually noticed, which kind of throws this off, which, again, I think this is the only thing for me at the moment that makes Cosmic Fury dip down quite a bit. But I have a video coming on that. It's just really annoying. I went and watched Once and Always to make sure that I was correct on this part. But yeah, it's something that really irritates me with the scene with Billy when he's at the command center. Although Billy does say that when he got the other Rangers out of prison, you know, Zach was doing hip hop keto and kind of really messed with the guards. And I was like, okay, that's really cool that you're implementing hip hop keto again. I think it'd been really cool to see Zach in this as well. Like, he could have popped up and went, hey guys, how you doing? And I think everybody would have gone, what the hell? And you could easily have filmed that at New Zealand at the time. So a few brownie points taken from that, a lot taken from what I saw. Now, another thing that I think in this that kind of marks it down is this next scene. Ion has turned around to the others and said, hey, I need to go pack up my restaurant because I can't have it open due to this invasion. So when Ion's packing up his restaurant, a girl walks in or runs in and says like, oh my god, are you an alien? Like, can you, I want to try your food and stuff. And Ion's like, sorry, I can't make anything. And her mother's there and says like, oh, really sorry about this. Like, you know, Sammy wanted to try some alien snacks. And she's like, yeah, I wanted to try the flogging cake. And Ion like literally says, here's the recipe to make it. And I was like, oh darn, that's actually really nice of him. He could not have done that. But Sammy just wanders off, and I was like, oh, you're such a spoilt brat in this. Like, there's an invasion going on. And normally, I could imagine that the kid would go like, okay, I understand, but thank you for the recipe, so they can have unlimited stuff at home. Or spread that information on Pinterest or whatever, and there you go, you've got alien cake. But yeah, it's just really weird that they put this in. Like, you know, you kind of would understand. So the kid runs off, and the mother's like, where the hell? You know, thanks for the information, and she leaves. This next part really did make me smile, and I hope it make you smile. Let me know if you did smile in the comments. So we see some familiar faces. We see the human form of Sliver and also Mucus. And I was wondering if we were going to see them again. I know there are some rumors and stuff, but I am so glad that they're in there. It was really nice to see them. And I generally really like seeing Campbell's stuff because he's amazing in this. So we see that they're doing magic and stuff. And the kid, Sammy, again, is really like disheartened that she didn't get any kind of cake. So for me, I was just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. So Sliver and Mucus do tricks, and Sliver turns around and we see Sliver in a blue dress. He produces fireworks as well, and yeah, I thought this was really cool. It's really nice seeing them in this, and I'm so glad that they become good guys. We only find this out because as soon as Iron comes along, the Mucus and Slifer are like, oh my god, like, are you here to destroy us? And he's like, no, I need to know, and then reads their mind. And we see like this entire clip of what happened from when Mucus escaped, where obviously Sliver's there, they turn into human, and Mucus is like, I don't want to be human, I really don't like it, I don't feel comfortable whatsoever, but because they're doing a circus bit, they have to do it. And I generally really liked what we saw on this. It was a really nice kind of like appeal to it. It was nice seeing that these two villains turned good guys. They're here and they want to help. So Ion then takes them to the base because, yeah, takes them to the base, and everyone is just like, what the hell do you think you're doing? And they're all kind of like raising their weapons. And when I saw this, I just generally thought, hang on a minute. Ion has turned around and said, they're good guys. Otherwise, why would he bring them back to the base? So for me seeing that, I was just like, But then Tarek, Zato, and Amelia actually read their minds again. And I think we get a really good line of when Mucus is like, don't think weird thoughts, and then goes, fish with feet. And I just love it. I feel it's kind of cool. I think that if you were to do something really wacky, then you could have literally have put that image in there and would have been cool. I think it would have been fine, and I think a lot of people would kind of agree with it. So kind of jumping back a little bit, when they've obviously read the minds, they've seen the same thing as Ion. And one of the things is like Mucus and Slifer actually turn around and make a circus, and then Lord Zed comes along and destroys it. And that's the reason why they hate Lord Zed, because they destroyed a business that they've made together. So yeah, there's tons of little things that have made them turn against Lord Zed and actually hate him. Virgilia is now on course for Pine Ridge because she's found the location, and it's like, oh yeah, of course it would be in Pine Ridge. But while this is happening, the Rangers have come up with a plan to send Mucus and Sliver onto the base because Lord Zed will think that they're evil. But with Mucus being human, it's going to be a hard challenge because, again, like, what's the point? Like, it just wouldn't make sense. But because Mucus is constantly going on, and the fact is that she doesn't like being in a human form, she wished that she was a mushroom again. Zato turns around and says, like, no one should feel uncomfortable in their bodies, and he uses his magic to actually turn Mucus back into a mushroom again. Now, the one thing that I kind of thought about was that if you had a wish charm, because that's how Mucus turns human, wouldn't the wish charm, if it was broken, revert them back? Because I'm sure in the episode where it's brought up, they say as long as it's destroyed, everything returns back to normal, even though Mucus says, no, this is permanent. So again, I don't know why they just didn't destroy the actual device, because we see that when Zato uses magic, it just vaporizes and reverts Mucus back to her mushroom form. Now, because of this, I know that there is going to be one line that some people on Twitter are not going to like, and if that's the case, really, just really. But yeah, I know that there's going to be some problems with some of the lines in this episode, but I do like the fact that Mucus calls him a fungi. I thought that's some clever writing in a way. I like these sorts of mushroom jokes, even though I hate mushrooms, but I generally like these mushroom jokes because they actually work and kind of they fit in rather than just be like, oh, we're throwing these puns around. They actually work. let's say I think it works. The main plan for Mucus and Slifer is that they're going to go onto the base, they're going to find the Triceratops statue, and they're going to destroy it because they know that the energy from Ollie's powers is corrupting him, and that's the reason why he's evil. So that is the master plan that is going to happen. Because of all the energy that's been lost from Zato, he faints and they take him back to the base, and the girls go off in the Megazords to actually take down Squidrils as well as monsters and everything, copy guards and stuff like that. So they go off, but because of this we have Virgilia, who actually finds the base, busts in, and a fight starts happening between Ion as well as Javi. And I think that this scene really is cool after they start fighting, because we have Mucus and Slifer joining in the fight, which we don't normally see or didn't really see much in Dino Fury. So I really like the fact that an entire fight breaks out in this small area, and later on you hear Slifer going like, parry, parry, dodge, dodge, or, you know, like left hook, right hook, which I generally love that because we saw it again earlier when he would fight the Rangers. I think that if Tarek had his powers and he turned into Bronze Knight, that would have been a really kind of cool element. And again, Zato could have restored that certain power, which again, like, you know, you could have turned around and said, okay, well, he's got enough in the tank just for that one. So I think it'd be nice to see Tarek actually fight in a suit. We do see him fight in there, which was a fine thing. Also, I don't know where Heckle is. Like, did Heckle go back to the Dino Charge dimension? Because I thought he would have stayed around. It just irritated me that you had him for one episode, yet you could have had him doing all the stuff in suit. Even if you didn't know that you were going to use the actor, you could have had tons of stuff where you could have had a fight with him in it, which would have added more to it, and you could have kept him until the end of the season, which again is only 2 episodes. So the girls are still fighting the copy guards. The guys are like, look, we need your help. And as soon as the girls defeat the copy guards, they actually teleport in, and we get the kind of the final blow. Virgilia and Squillia are still fighting, but very soon the girls kind of come back, and we get kind of a combo of attacks. So then Amelia finishes off Virgilia as well as Squillia. It's really hard saying the names like that in a row, but because of that we get a new plan where Slifer turns into Squillia, because that's the best way of getting onto the ship and actually getting them to do everything that they want, because obviously Slifer is a master at turning into other people, being a shapeshifter. And I do kind of like the fact that Mucus has said, I'm going to be a lawyer. I don't know why you would need a lawyer. We see a tentacle kind of move off. I would imagine that when they both got destroyed, Virgilia and Squillia, that at least like body part just flung across the room. But because of this, we know that one of them survived. Which one is it? Let me know down below in the comments. So Squillia, which is Slifer, convinces everyone back on the base that they need to go back to where Lord Zed is, because they don't know effectively, so they make plans to go to Eltar. One of my favorite things in this is when Mucus goes, hello, is because I don't know why it is. It's just really funny to me, because everyone's like, who's this? And this is Mucus, my lawyer, and she's like, hello. I love it. I don't know what it is about that scene. I just think it's really funny to my eyes. It might not be funny to everyone else, but they obviously know where Lord's base is. So I think this has become one of the big parts in this, which is the fact that they're all back at the base. Zato is still unconscious because, well, he's just used his magic to transform Mucus back into her mushroom form. Solaron as well as Ion are kind of trying to convince the Rangers that nothing's wrong with Zato, everything's fine, until Zato actually wakes up and confesses everything to the others, saying like, you know, you didn't realize this made Ion as well as Solaron really uncomfortable, that they had to lie, and you only realize this because of Mucus saying that she didn't feel comfortable in her body. So that's the reason. He tells them everything, and they don't seem kind of like, oh my god, like you're not going to be in the next fight. They just kind of brush it off a little bit. Like, and I feel like this is a kind of a big downer for most of Cosmic Fury. When big things happen, they just kind of brush it off like nothing's happening. Like, there's emotion, but not enough emotion to make you think that they care. All of a sudden, after everything's been said, the Rangers get a message from Mucus and Slifer saying that they're on Eltar. Then we get one thing which I think is really funny. They go into the throne room, they see the Triceratops statue, and they get like, oh, this is where it must be. And we've got this and some bombs. And they put a bomb, a comical bomb, onto the statue. The alarms go off because the statue is touch sensitive now. Everyone rushes in, what's going on? And then suddenly the statue blows up and Ollie loses his power. Now, I'm so glad it wasn't like, oh, we found the bomb and then that's it. It was literally, oh, there's a bomb, oh god, and it explodes. Zed thinks that Squilly has done this, but actually it's Slifer. And yeah, like, they're about to be destroyed by Lord Zed, but Ollie turns around and goes, no, do this instead. It would be a lot more worse, etc., etc. And that's where the episode ends. I've got to admit, I kind of like this. There are elements in this episode that I generally liked. The fighting, the fact that you saw Mucus and Sliver fight. The fact is that you saw Sliver in a blue dress. The fact is you saw so much things that actually made this episode stand out compared to some of the others. And I kind of like it. It's like, here's a plan that we're going to do. We're going to execute it perfectly. We're going to trick everyone. And then that's it. So I generally really liked all of this episode. It felt like a Power Rangers episode to me. And it felt like a really good one. The character building for Slifer and Mucus and their arcs slowly coming to an end. I kind of like this episode. I really do. It's not one of my ultimate favorites, but it is high up there. But I am going to leave it there. Have you seen this episode? What did you think? Let me know down below in the comments, and I am going to leave it there. If you want to help out, support the channel, hit like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. And why not check the Patreon as well as the YouTube channel memberships to help the channel grow. I am going to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat, Kira Stanada, Micah Baldwin. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとう。チャンネル登録、高評価お願い。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができるよ。